Hi everyone, this is Lisa Blair. This is my next video in my new series, Therapy Under 5. I'm using a microphone today, so I hope you can hear me well this time. Let's see, I am a psychotherapist based in Santa Fe, New Mexico. I have a women-centered international private practice, and if you want to learn more about me, you can go to my website at lisablairma.com. So in each of these videos, for those of you who aren't yet familiar, I give myself about 5 minutes to answer a question that I've received from a client or other person over the years and give what I would consider a process-oriented, depth-oriented, psychological answer to that question. So I am going to set my timer for 5 minutes, and here is the question. It came from a client, a woman. She said, I often think I should be doing more with my life. A critical voice inside me says I should be doing more. What do you think? So I think of two directions here. The first is this voice. There's a query to this voice. Is it mostly a critical voice that's just putting you down for not doing enough in life? Or is it a voice that is seeing something in you, that's trying to call something forward in you, that sees a potential in you that wants to be manifested in life? In this case, when we went deeper into what that voice was saying to her, it was more about self-criticism. So in that case, I would say this voice is just being harsh. It's comparing her to other people and thinking you're not doing enough, you should be doing more. It had examples of, this person does this and this person does that, and how come you're only doing this? So that's not a very useful voice. That's just kind of a bully that's putting her down. And what I would have to say to that is that voice doesn't recognize her nature. It doesn't recognize who she is and what her calling is in life, or what her callings are in life. And I would compare that to saying, say, to a rose. If we're looking at a rose, and there's the rose, it blossoms, it blooms, it has its life, and then it dies as a rose. We wouldn't compare it to an oak tree and think, how come, dear rose, you aren't an oak tree? How come you don't grow as big as that? And how come you don't provide shade and nesting for animals and do other things in life? You should be doing more. You should be bigger and more successful, so to speak, and doing more, and criticizing the rose in that way. We wouldn't say that to the rose, because we wouldn't even think of that, because a rose, leads a rose life. It's not meant to lead a life of an oak tree. That's not what God intended, you could say. That's not what the Spirit intended. It's not what nature intended. It's not the nature of a rose to be an oak tree. So very much along those lines, not everybody is meant to run a marathon or be the CEO of a company or get a Ph.D. or whatever it is. Some people live more rose-like lives where who they are, their beauty as they are, is what is most profound about their life. Maybe they do a simple thing like they help one person. Maybe they're a mother and they raise one child, and that is their calling in life. Maybe they're an artist and they make one beautiful painting, and that's their life. So nature, God, Spirit the universe made diversity, and there's diversity of all kinds in the way in people's nature and their personality and what they're called to do and what their life is meant for. And in that case, I think the best thing to do is to get in touch with what is your calling in life, or what are your callings? What are you really moved to do? What must you do in life? And then as much as your resources and privileges in life allow, and not everybody has all the resources in life to be able to follow their calling, So that has to be obviously taken into consideration, and some people have oppressions that don't allow them to always follow their calling. So that needs to be considered. But as much as possible, knowing what your calling is, knowing what your nature is, and then following that as closely as you can, I would say is sort of the way to go there. If, on the other hand, that critic had been actually seeing something in her, then it is actually pointing to the calling. So if it's saying, this is the life you're living, but I see more potential in you. I see something in you that's really special and really great and wants to be lived in this life, wants to be manifested, then I say, then pay attention to that voice and follow that. Follow your impulses there. See where it leads you. Follow something that inspires you in that direction. So it's important to be able to differentiate if that voice is just being critical or if it's actually seeing some potential in you that's untapped. But either way, following your nature and your calling in life is one of the most important tasks that we have. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.